Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining me in this video. Before now, you are aware how we expose so many government agents, especially the ministers, the governor, and people in Aso Rock, how they are sponsoring insecurity in Nigeria. The former governor of Zamfara State, who is Matawande, faced a lot of resistance yesterday. What happened? Protesters demand Matawande's sack over Zamfara's worsening insecurity. Well, I saw the protest. It was not that serious anyway, but the people of Zamfara State are tired of the killings and so on and so forth. And they know someone who was paying the bandits, the terrorists. They know someone who was backing the terrorists. They said, no, this thing cannot continue to happen. Why this man is in Abuja as a Minister of Defense in Nigeria, and you have been indicted and they approve that you sponsor terrorism. So that is the reason why they went to the street and in Abuja to begin to protest against Matawande. But not only that, do you remember that video I shared with you, how the incumbent governor of Zamfara State went to the national televisions, he went to TVC, Arise News, and Chinese television as well to tell the whole world that the man who handed over to him is the one that is sponsoring the insecurity in his state. Take a watch of this video while we come back to understand the details of the reason why people are now staging protests against Matawande, who is sponsoring insecurity in Zamfara State. Listen to the incumbent governor on the allegation he leveled against Matawande.
In fact, let me say this very categorical. If I were him, I would resign and face all the allegations against me. And that would have been more honorable, because from all the information we're getting, my predecessor was fully involved in some of these banditry issues. Typical is the fact that there was a permanent secretary when his children were abducted. And it was unfortunate that he had to pay ransom through the government house. And it was also very clear, based on all the allegations, that bandits were being kept at government house. There are so many issues. So for me, honestly, if I were him, I'll step aside and face this allegation until I clear my name before I come back and continue my job. That should have been more honorable. And how can you imagine all these allegations against him? And he's still the Minister of Defense. I mean, that is unfair. This man could have been honorable, stay aside, face all these allegations, clear his name, and then come back and continue to do whatever he wants to do. Whether he wants to remain as minister or he wants to do something else, that would have been more honorable as far as I'm concerned. If I'm in that position, believe me, I'll put in my resignation letter.
Well, Your Excellency, he has not been nailed by the EFCC. So why do you think he should have been probed before taking up the appointment?
There were a lot of issues in the past.
Yeah, that was from the incumbent governor of Zamfara State, for you to understand the level of involvement, because for a governor to come to national television to speak about this, it should tell you what is going on. Now, it reads that hundreds of disgruntled women and youths from Zamfara State on Tuesday took their protest to the headquarters of the Department of Security Service in Abuja over heightened insecurity in the state. The aggrieved persons blamed the immediate past governor of the state and now Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawande, for the heightened activities of the bandits, which they claim was a fallout of his alleged romance with them during his administration. The demonstrators, who arrived in about 12 long buses at 10:15 a.m. were restricted from accessing the premises of the security agency. The protest comes on month after the state chapter of the All Progressive Congress called on the federal government to declare a state of emergency in the state to allow the fight against the banditry to succeed. Waving placards which reads, "We are dying and DSS save us from bandits," the protesters urged the DSS Director General Adeola Ajayi to intervene. And addressing the journalists, the leader of the demonstrators, Manda Musa Mahmoud, expressed disappointment that President Bola Tinubu had not sacked Matawande as minister, despite the evidence presented by Governor Dauda Ndawa, who is the incumbent governor of Zamfara State. Mahmoud, who is also the chairman of the All Progressive Congress Akeda Forum, pleaded that Matawande should be probed and not given a soft landing owing to his loyalty to the president. Well, I appreciate the courage of the demonstrators, the protesters, but I hate it when people continue to make the same mistake over and over again. You people are protesting as if you don't know what is going on in Nigeria. It's not all about Matawande. Yes, you people are holding him responsible, but this is all about the Islamization agenda. In Zamfara State, you see how if you... in fact, so many things that are going on is not good to be heard. But the most important thing you have to understand is that the worsening insecurity situation has to do with a calculated attempt to Islamize Nigeria. But unfortunate thing here is that the people who are also Muslim are part of the people who are suffering it. So this thing is holistic. It's not as if only part of the country are suffering it. From the north to the south, east to west, everyone is suffering all these things. In fact, I think I would say that some part of the country have already given up, especially the middle belt and the northern. The west, I don't know their stance, but I believe the part of the southeast are going to resist it with anything that they come with. So this is what is trending today, and I want you to tell me what you think. By the way, before, there is a security report about how the government officials were sponsoring the banditry. Take a listen.
Like I said, we know where these guys are. We know where they live. We know their parents.
You know them as a government?
Of course we do. They live with the same community we live.
So why is it difficult to get them?
That is the $1 million question that I should ask you.
We are trying to understand, for those of us who are now conversant with Zamfara, have never been there, and we hear you as a chief security officer speak tonight to say you know these people, but yet you can't get them. It's a head scratcher.
It is something that we are trying to all put our heads together. That is why, from what I can do as a governor, to have this CPG as a first line of defense. Of course, military are there, police are there, as well as civil defense, but they are not under my control. They are under the control of federal government. And they're
if the law keeps breaking the people might need to break the law so that they can break free. Apartheid was legal in South Africa, but it was breaking South Africans until they broke it. Slavery was legal. In fact, not only was it legal, slavery is also ecclesiastical. It's in the Bible that you should respect your master. But when slavery was breaking people had to break the law of slavery. So if the Nigerian law keeps breaking the Nigerian people may need to break the part of the law that keeps them broken all the time. And that is why I keep advocating mobilization that do not come only during elections. In other serious countries, if elections are rigged, the person who rigged the election cannot walk away. You get my point? Yeah. And I had the issue with the Labour Party and where Aisha was with. They mobilized, they also were demobilizing when they should keep mobilizing. I don't see any reason why they sat back after it was known that there was, I said, I know there was no election. But whatever they believed took place. And they ought not to have stopped there. They ought to have been complete mobilization and the shutdown of the system. The system was ready for that shutdown. But then they said, hey, don't fight. They're not going to get power on a platter of gold. Don't let anybody deceive you that somehow, because those who are in power.
The president said that himself, that power will never be served.
Those who are in power will keep giving you homework assignments and homework to do. Go and mobilize. We're talking about political parties. Very soon, they will come and register political parties so that they can register political parties that will do their bidding. Or the political parties they cannot register, they will go in there and scatter the party.